Hi, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. We're looking at the transition storm that'll be moving in on Saturday night, Sunday into Sunday. And this weather system is behind an area of higher pressure that will be departing. We'll have a little bit of a south flow. We have a lot of moisture that's working on in, and a lot of rainfall to contend with to our south. However, the precipitation shield will be working in and overspread the region with snow. It looks like the majority of the precipitation on the front end will fall as snow, but eventually will change over to sleet and freezing rain. Now here at about hour 51, this would be valid about 10 o'clock in the evening, Saturday evening. We have the 0 degree isotherm. This is that line here. This is that blue line. Everything to the north falling as snow, and this is a pretty good chunk of snow here. Heavier precipitation working in across the region. This is the 32-degree isotherm at surface. Anything south of that is really falling in the form of probably rain and sort of mixed precipitation types sort of in between here. So what ends up happening is we see the that 0 degree isotherm, that light blue line, begin to advance up, and roughly by this point in time, we're talking this would be valid at about 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a pretty solid changeover to sleet, and we're looking at probably some rain to follow that, but freezing rain because of 32 degrees, this is all sub-freezing air. But by the time we get into about hour 60, we're starting to see that 32-degree isotherm line. In other words, temperatures going above freezing start to work in roughly at about 7 o'clock in the morning. This is the latest modeling showing roughly it's to the Canadian border by around 10 o'clock in the morning, and really not as many worries thereafter. However, precipitation will fall probably as a little bit of freezing rain and rain on the back side of the system, and then temperatures warm. That's not right. Hi, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights Consulting. Well, we have another complex storm system on the way. This is the VELCO weather hazards update for the incoming storm for Saturday night into Sunday. And what we're looking at here is an area of higher pressure departing. And as this area of higher pressure departs, typically a southerly flow will start to import a lot of moisture. We have a big precipitation shield with an area of low pressure advancing in to our southwest, just a little bit off this picture. And this is the 32-degree isotherm, so temperature is north of this line, cold enough to snow. The 0 degree isotherm. Snow will be advancing across the northern part of the precipitation shield over time, and then also will pick up in intensity. And I'm expecting this to start out as a medium dry snow, sort of advance into a kind of a medium wet snow. But the last 3 or 4 inches of snowfall appear to be transitioning so fast to sleet that it shouldn't be of major concern, and it will sort of negate any kind of snow loading. Fingers crossed. It will be close. We'll have to keep a close eye on it here. But at this point in time, we're looking at about 4 in the morning on Sunday. What has happened is the 0 degree isotherm at 850 millibars, the warm air aloft is now advanced north to the Canadian border, except the far Northeast Kingdom. The 32-degree isotherm not yet quite into Bennington County, but it's making some inroads. So we'll advance this a little bit longer, a little bit later in time, and you'll see that 32-degree isotherm there, that temperature at surface quickly makes it into the northern border areas except for the Northeast Kingdom. This will be the last holdout, and this is where there could be a little more extensive glazing, but we're not talking about very much, generally under a quarter of an inch. This storm is a transition storm, so it's going to be moving in pretty quickly. A lot of changes, and so by this time we're looking at 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. It's still raining a little bit, but the overall trend is things will lighten up and scatter out as a little bit of a dry slot moves into the region, and we dry out for into Monday evening. However, of note here is the backside of this system. What we're looking at is a bit of a northwesterly flow that'll be coming in west to northwest, and probably some pretty good mixing winds. But it looks like the majority of that is going to be happening more centered toward Sunday late overnight and into Monday. And we'll get some good mixing conditions along with a lot colder temperatures advecting into the region, setting us up for below zero temperatures, at least during the night. And something else we'll have to watch is the gradient wind aspect. And it looks like the front end we get into a little bit of fairly strong winds along the spine of the greens, but this would be a little bit more favored for the western slopes as we'll have a strong southeasterly wind flow. And as that area of low pressure advances 994 millibars here north of the St. Lawrence River Valley, we'll start to get a southwesterly wind and a westerly wind on the backside of this system. And it looks like the biggest time there, or the worst, it looks like somewhere in the vicinity of, looks like Monday morning into Monday afternoon, and good mixing conditions as well. And the winds eventually fall off as we get into the evening and overnight hours and early Tuesday morning. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights Consulting.